Happy January 2nd, everyone. This is Derek. Let's remind ourselves while we're here. Beginning of the year is a fantastic time to set new goals. Everybody loves to set new goals on January 1st, but the statistic is that by January 12th, most of us have already fallen off the wagon and already aren't working on the habits and the goals anymore. So what I want to do is talk through this book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. I'm reading through the book myself. This is to help me get through January and still be working on my goals. I've been really good in the past at setting goals, really horrible at keeping those goals. So this is to help me get past January 12th, get past January 31st, and at this time next year be able to look back and say, I set goals in January of 2021 and I accomplished them. So I'm going to be walking through this book just one chapter at a time, talking through the highlights as I'm reading it. Comment on the habits or comment on the highlights that you've had but from reading the book, or if you're just following along, comment on the things that are standing out to you. But we want to talk about chapter 1 is called The Surprising Power of Atomic Habits, and it really talks about why atomic habits, the smallest type of habit, is the most essential and why it's so important. And we talk about why small habits make such a big difference. And I highlighted a sentence where the author, James Clear, says, too often we convince ourselves that massive success requires massive action when really that's not the case. So he talks about making a 1% difference every single day, because 1% is a small amount. If you make a 1% difference every single day at this time next year, you will be 37 times better than you are today. But the same thing happens if you're 1% worse today. You're 1% worse every single day, then at this time next year, you're going to be 0.03% of who you are today. All right, so 1% increase is really good. 1% decrease is just as bad in the opposite direction. So habits are the thing that keep us moving forward, or habits are the things that keep us moving backwards. And he says habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. So just like I can put money in the stock market and the compound interest makes it grow, my habits, I keep on doing my habits, is the compound interest that creates success. And we often dismiss small changes because they don't seem to matter very much in the moment. So some things that aren't noticeable or even notable today are actually the things that if I keep on doing that over and over and over again, that make a difference in the long run. He talks about a fantastically amazing example that I've thought about since I started reading this book several weeks ago. It's about heating up an ice cube. So if an ice cube's at 25 degrees Fahrenheit, it takes a certain amount of energy to heat it up 1 degree from 25 to 26 degrees Fahrenheit. It's the same amount of energy that it takes to heat that ice cube up from 31 to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. But the fact of the matter is, when you go from 31 to 32 degrees, the magic starts happening and the ice starts melting. You don't see that change when you put in the energy at 25 to 26 degrees, but it's still the same amount of change that's occurring. And so a single decision, a small heating up the ice cube from 25 to 26, is easy to dismiss that, and because it's not noticeable, it's not even notable. But yet it is the thing that we keep on doing that over and over and over and over again. Eventually we will get to melt the ice cube. And so he talks about we should be far more concerned with our trajectory than we are with our current results. And I've used this as I do financial coaching with my clients. I've used it with myself. I've used it as I talk to other coaches. We can talk about where we are positionally and where we are directionally. So, if I think about where I want to be positionally, I want to be at a 10 out of 10, but I don't think I'm there. And frankly, I don't think I'm ever going to get to exactly where I want to be 10 out of 10. And so positionally, I am not where I want to be, but directionally, the trajectory that I'm on to get to where I want to be is exactly where I want to be today. Right? So my trajectory matters. Am I moving in the direction that I want to move? Am I moving at the rate of increase that I want to move every day? Am I getting 1% better today? Am I getting 1% better tomorrow? And if I'm doing that, then I should be less worried about where I actually am, because if I'm getting 1% better every day, that's the thing that moves me along the trajectory. And here's the deal. You get what you repeat. 1% better every single day, you repeat that. So if that's eating right every single day, if that's exercising every single day, if that's reading your Bible every single day, if that is reviewing your purchases every single day, whatever that 1% is, if you do that every single day, you will get the results of what you repeat. And I love this sentence, maybe the most important sentence of this entire chapter. Good habits make time your ally. Bad habits make time your enemy. The difference in those sentences is not time, because time's going to happen. All right, time is going to happen. That's the one thing we're guaranteed, as long as we don't pass away or the Lord doesn't come back. We have time. So good habits make time your ally. Bad habits make time your enemy. So what's it going to be? Is time going to be your enemy, or is time going to be your ally? It all comes down onto the type of habits that you have. And so he talks about breakthrough moments, the moments we actually notice when we talk about the ice cube. Breakthrough moments are often the result of many previous actions which build up the potential required to actually unleash the major change. So it feels like, talk about losing weight. I've lost 50 pounds in the last 7 months, and it's not always been easy. And there are many days, even weeks, where I would work, and the scale wouldn't even move. That is not wasted energy. That's just stored up energy. And eventually that scale is going to move. The same thing happens when you talk about in your finances, or you talk about exercising, you talk about eating right, whatever it is. You start working on small changes. When you don't see results, don't worry about it. It's not wasted energy, it's stored up energy. And stored up energy eventually will result in a breakthrough moment. You talk about, people talk about overnight successes. Well, it was an overnight success that took 14 years. Or it was an overnight success that took 30 years. We only notice it when things actually start changing, but yet there's so much that's happening in the background. So your work is never wasted as long as you're working on that, getting 1% better. It's just stored even if you don't see the results. So why do some people stay on track and some people don't stay on track? I made the statement yesterday, and it's the one statement that keeps me reading this book, is the fact that successful people and unsuccessful people have the same goals. It's just that successful people actually reach those goals. And so this section here is titled, Forget About the Goals and Focus on the Systems. Results have very little to do with the goals that we set. It has nearly everything to do with the systems and the processes that we set up to reach those goals. And here's why. Goals are good for setting a direction. Goals just tell us what direction we're headed in. Are we going this way? Are we going that way? Which direction are we going? But the system is the best for actually making the progress. And so there's a couple problems he talks about with achieving, with goals, and I'll just walk through them really quickly. The first one is what I just mentioned. Winners and losers have the same goals. So that's the problem. One of the problems with goals is that it's not just enough to set a goal. Problem number 2 is achieving goal is only a momentary change. So you think about losing 50 pounds. If my goal is just to lose 50 pounds, well, the day that I lost 50 pounds, my goal was over, right? But what I need is a system to stay healthy. So achieving goals are only momentary changes. Goals restrict your happiness because you have this mindset that if and when I reach my goal, I'll be happy, right? And so I can't be happy today because I haven't reached my goal yet. So you go back to this idea of where I am positionally versus where I am directionally, and you say, well, I won't be happy until I get here. No, I can be happy and perfectly content with the progress that I'm making, even if I haven't reached my goal. Right, so goals tend to restrict happiness. Last one, he talks about that goals are at odds with long-term progress, because we tend to view goals as the finish line, when really they're just a milestone along the way. They're part of the journey. They're not the destination. And the system is the thing that keeps us moving past the milestones, because really the finish line only happens when our life is over, right? I don't want to finish anything, really, when it comes to long-term goals until the day I die. Right, and so goals are at odds with long-term progress. Systems keep me moving towards long-term progress. So he makes this statement about a system of atomic habits, and if you don't mind, I'm just going to read a paragraph here. If you're having trouble changing your habits, the problem isn't you, right? So he's talking to me here. If you're having a problem changing your habits, the problem isn't you. The problem is your system. Bad habits repeat themselves again and again, not because you don't want to change, but because you have the wrong system for change. And here is a breakthrough statement to me that I want you to walk away with from today. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. I'll read it again. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And so folks who are watching this, if you've read the book, I want you to rethink about this. It's not about the goals that you set, they're important. It's about the systems and the processes that you set in place in order to reach the goals. So we talk about atomic habits. And it's important to define atomic habits because that's what this book is about, atomic habits. It's a regular practice or routine that is not only small and easy to do, but also the source of incredible power. It's a component of the system of compound growth. So folks, we'll start tomorrow talking about how habits shape our identity and how identity creates habits and the actions that we take. But today I want you to remember one thing. Goals are not what you should be focused on. It's the system that supports the goal that you should focus on. So join tomorrow and we're going to talk about our identity and our habits. And if you apologize all the background sound, I'm at my in-laws for New Year's break, and so there's a lot of noise in the basement here. But again, Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you haven't bought the book, I highly recommend it. Take care, y'all, and we'll see you tomorrow on January 3rd.